Hi, my name is Joanna. I plan to graduate in May 2023 with my cross-disciplinary degree in hopes to return to finish my nursing. I am a current RA on campus. I've done a couple things on campus as well. I've been the president of SMAC, which is their multicultural advisory council and their diverse club on campus. I've worked in admissions as an admissions intern, also in the student life as a student life intern. I currently intern in diversity and belonging office. And yeah, and I also have an RA. I'm not sure if I said that before, but that's a big part of my life as well.
Hi guys, my name's Jack Saya. I just graduated in May of 2023 with my psychology BS degree. On campus here, I'm an RA. I am the chair of the Student Senate. I work in the admissions office, and I'm also vice president of the ski club here. Um, Looking back at my high school experience, I wasn't really involved at all. I definitely wasn't a student leader. And then coming to college, it was a side of me that I wanted to explore, being a leader of other students. So if you're in a similar situation where you might not have been as much of a leader in high school, um, it's definitely possible to still get involved in college, and definitely something you can still be a part of.
Yes, so today, with that being said, we're going to be covering overcoming adversity. So, adversity is something that's common, for everybody, and adversity looks different for a lot of people. So, today we're going to make sure that we tackle that issue and teach you guys ways of how to overcome adversity while giving examples of how we overcome adversity personally.
So, the Merriam-Webster dictionary defines adversity as a state of perceived misfortune or challenge that affects a person in their pursuit to advance or go forward. However, that's just the textbook definition. Adversity can take many different forms depending on your situation. So, one way that adversity can take form is through emotional challenges. So, this has to do with like things going on in your personal life, maybe illness or mental health struggles, anything like that that cause emotional challenges. Those can be perceived as adversity.
Some other ways that it can be taken form is financial stress. So obviously coming into school, school could be kind of stressful. Dealing with finances, living on your own for the first time if you live on campus. So that can also bring a barrier as well, depending um, on how you set yourself up before you get here. As well as mental pressure, school is stressful. Even before you get here or not, even high school, I remember school being super stressful, kind of coming to the point of applying for certain places and, waiting for your letter of acceptance. So it can be stressful. So that's a way of dealing with mental pressure, anxiety, fatigue. It's also taxing. It's a lot of time. It can be a lot of fun too, but it's a lot of time. And then also stressful assignments. You come in as a freshman or whatever you are standing, and the workloads gets harder and harder and more and more. So that can also create a lot of adversity. But before we go forward, I want us to take some time and think about what adversity means to you. It can mean a lot of different things to many different people. I mean, I'm sure between me and Jack, adversity looks like two different things. So take some time, take a few seconds, and write down what you think adversity means to you. Welcome back. So now that you have written down what adversity means to you, we're going to get into the adversity cycle, right? So you might be wondering, what is the adversity cycle? Well, I'm going to tell you. So there's four stages to this cycle, right? So the first stage is I am presented with a challenge or an obstacle. So you're presented with something that seems hard, right? In adversity, there is always a problem there that you're trying to get over or a barrier you're trying to hurdle. The next stage is I anticipate the outcome based on past experiences. So, based on how you were able to deal with adversity in the past or things that you've seen, kind of determines the way you move forward. The third stage is I respond to the current adversity by taking action. And also, ignoring or avoiding is also an action as well. So, in this way, depending how you responded to adversity in the past, did you face it head on or did you back down from the pressure that's there? And then the fourth stage is my feelings or thoughts towards that particularly set adversity is reinforced. So, again, depending how you took action with that adverse or that situation in front of you, that determines how you think about adversity in general and how you move forward. So those are the four stages of adversity cycle that we sometimes wrestle through.
So in my personal life, I'm sure you guys as well, we can apply a lot of different things to that cycle. So just to put it into perspective, from my life, uh, while I was in college, my dad actually passed away really suddenly, and it was right before final exams. So you could imagine a lot of stress going on, a lot of emotions, and all the while, I still have to complete my semester at some point. So that was kind of the initial stage one that happened. And based on previous experiences, previous finals weeks, I knew how busy it was going to be. I knew all the assignments I had to do, and I knew what was coming. However, I also did know that typically the professors at Roberts are really nice, really understanding, especially in situations like that. So, how I took action was that I reached out to my professors. I told them all the situation, or I told all of them the situation that I was in, and I asked for grace. And of course, they gave it. They provided grace. And I ended up overcoming that adversity, that struggle in my life by finishing my semester a few weeks later than everyone else, but I still finished. And now, looking back and going forward, I can now understand better how to overcome situations like that because I've done it before, and I can reflect and look back and apply it to that cycle.
And for me, like applying the adversity cycle would have to do with in certain positions, being a leader, a part of a club. Sometimes we do events that not everybody wants to do. And there was an event that was coming up, it was called the Mass Singer, which I'm sure you guys have seen the show. But it's during COVID, and we're trying to see how we're going to still do fun events while also social isolating. So we came up with the idea of the Mass Singer. Now, when it first happened, we only had a couple of people who were interested. A lot of people on the team were thinking, hey, maybe we won't do it. But I wanted to do something that was going to be fun for students, something engaging, something that anybody could do and be a part of. So I kept pushing forward and forward, and eventually we got more people to do it. We even did offered $50 or $100 Amazon card for the winners, which definitely got way more entries, and it ended up being a fun event that we plan to utilize in the future. So looking at the situation, I could have backed down. I could have said, "Hey, let's do something different," but I decided to not let that circumstance define how I look at adversity, and just keep moving forward and seeing if there's any other way option that we can still push forward. So now we're going to get into some thinking questions.
So our first question that we have for you guys, and you can write it down, think about it, pause the video, do whatever. First question is, what hardships or challenges do you face as a student, and how do you overcome it? So think about challenges at home, at church, at school, at your job, anything like that. Um, Pause the video, write it down.
So the next question we're going to talk about is, what adversities do you expect to face in college? So that's a big question. Obviously, there's a lot of things that we talked about earlier, but what are some of the things that you're thinking about now that you expect to experience currently, or maybe even in the future down the line when it comes to like your junior or senior year? Take some time to write that down. Okay, so now that we've gone over that, we're going to do this last assignment, which we would like you to do in the summer. So you're going to write down two of the adversities that you mentioned today. Honestly, it doesn't even have to stop at two. Um, and then we're going to have you take 10 minutes or so, however long you want, to do this next part, which Jack's going to touch on.
Yeah, so take 10 minutes or so and put yourself in a situation like you're giving advice to somebody you really care about, whether it be a close friend or a relative or sibling. And then write down what advice you would give this person if they had similar obstacles to you or if they were in the same situation.
Mhm. After that, you're going to take minutes to reflect. And the reflecting doesn't have to happen all in this moment. It can happen later on, like if you catch yourself during the week, kind of thinking about some of these adversities. If you see these adversities that you write down pop up in your everyday at home, like Jack mentioned at school and church, um, the point is to look at adversity and not let it defeat you or define you. See how you can overcome it. See how you can take those hurdles and those challenges and move forward. Like we mentioned today, I mean, by the time you watch this, you both have graduated. And that's adversity in itself. It takes a lot to get here, but it's such an accomplishment. And there could have been so many hurdles along the way that could have kept us down, but we, moved forward. We, held on to each other, our friends, our support systems, community, professors, teachers, whoever it may be, faculty and staff. There are people along the way, and also just self motivation to drive us forward and to help us look at adversity not as a challenge, but as an obstacle to move forward and be successful. So, with that being said, I want to thank you so much for listening in today. Yes, and have a great day and great summer.